Nieuport 1600. It's turn 3. We're picking up again with the bypassed commander here. That's showing he was bypass. It's Verre, the Dutch advance guard. Now, picking up with play again raises the question of whether a bypassed wing could be preempted again. In other words, I was thinking, could Bucquoy over here attempt to bypass Verre again? I don't think that that's possible, because the rules say that when you get down to step F, new activation, it specifically says that if there was a bypassed wing, like in this case, you go back up and you pick up step B. Step B is after preemption attempt. So that tells me that basically a wing can only be preempted once, is what it looks like to me. So we pick up with order change. So the question is, does Verre want to change his order here to, see, he's with routed infantry. And he's got a routed infantry over here. So, and he's got shaken infantry here. So he's got some trouble. Ooh, he also has a routed cavalry way back here too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to try, yeah, I'm going to see how this works. I'm going to first of all try to change actually, let's figure out if he switches to rally, then, I mean, they are standing, so maybe he does go for a rally. Let's experiment. Oh, I know what. Which one's easier? From charge, it's 2 or less to go to march, or 5 or less to go to rally. So there we go. He is going to try to change his order from charge to rally, primarily because it's just easier. So let's see if I'm going to figure out whether half of the units of this wing are shaken, broken, or eliminated. Okay, and counting and getting whether half of the units of the wing are shaken, broken, or eliminated. First of all, both of these broken cavalry units back here are part of the advance guard, so they count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units that are shaken, broken, or eliminated. And then I counted up the total number of units. I did not count the artillery, because artillery, they can't be shaken, broken. They can't be shaken or, oh, maybe they should be included. Okay, all right. Then I will include the artillery. I hadn't included them, but I will include them because I guess they can be eliminated. So including the 2 artillery, then we're talking 13. 5 of 13 is not half. He rolled a 6. He needed 5 or less to change to rally, but he does subtract his commander value, his command value of 1, so he just barely makes it. 6 minus 1 is 5. He needed 5 or less to change to rally order. So he changes to rally order. Now, so that's order change. Now we go to unit actions. So of the unit actions, obviously units can try to rally, and they also, if they are already adjacent to the enemy, they can fire. So they can fire here, he can fire here. So there'll be some firing and some rallying. So I just had an insane series of events here. I'm just going to show it all. This is absurd, but it all comes down to not knowing how to do retreats. Okay. First of all, infantry fired first to the shaken infantry adjacent and missed. Then the artillery fired and hit, I think, or missed. Oh man, now I can't remember. But then this infantry had to fire as well. So whatever combination we finally got to, these three had to fire, which eventually got to these musketeers having to rout. They obviously can't route backwards. They can't route this way because they can't route 2 hexes. Is that I don't know. Is that how you interpret the rule? So can they slide sideways, which I think is utterly ridiculous? Do they move over here? First I moved once and I said, well, is there some type of like defensive fire? Well, defensive fire is only inactive units. These are all obviously active units, so that doesn't apply. So finally I said, all right, what happens if I have them move? And I said, okay, what happens if I have them move, because now these guys can just fire on them, and I had them fire on them. They rolled a 3 + 2 for 5, which is a morale check +1, and they rolled a 1 + 1 is 2, which is exactly what they needed because their morale is, oh my. That does raise the question, is the morale -5 from this number or the normal morale? So is their morale 2 or 3? I always thought that it should be off of the back, the disordered. I wonder about that now. But in any case, they got a 2, which means that no matter how you interpret the morale level, they passed their morale check. Then I said, despite the utter absurdity of all of this, I said, well, fine, I'll have the artillery fire on it. And the artillery fired, and they missed. They rolled a 3 and missed. So through all of this, these musketeers who were already disordered, if I remember correctly, now I can't even remember, I think they were disordered to begin with, they get fired at from across the line, and they're still there in rout state. That just doesn't make sense, because what's going to happen is, if you can retreat laterally, you're just going to keep going ping-ponging back and forth across the front line, which is absurd. So when they say you have to retreat towards your side, your retreat side, and if you can't do that, then you can go to a free hex, that just doesn't make sense. It has to be a free hex that's away from what? Away from what? You need more detail here, rules writers.